What's going on, everybody? This is MDENT313, and I'm back at y'all with another one. Listen, we got more good news in boxing. Keith Thurman and Tszyu are scheduled to fight, assuming that Keith Thurman gets past his tune-up fight and Brock Jarvis. You never know how those fights can turn out. You know, I won't say a lot of times, but sometimes you'll have a guy who you bring him in, he's just pretty much brought in to lose. He's brought in to be a tune-up. He's brought in to make a guy look good, to hype up a fight, things of that nature. Or he's brought in to lose and, shake up, for the veteran to shake off some ring rust, get some activity going to set up his next fight, right? And that's what Keith Thurman versus Brock Jarvis is, right? Keith Thurman, it is being reported that assuming Keith Thurman gets past Brock Jarvis, him and Tszyu are looking to handle their business, and I believe it will be at 154, which is good news. It's good news for boxing. It's good news for 154. I'm not only looking forward to seeing how Keith Thurman come back against Brock Jarvis, but I'm interested to see how he look against Tszyu, as well as I'm excited to see how Tszyu look coming back. Unfortunately, he's coming off of 2 losses. He lost a very close fight to Sebastian Fundora, which I believe had Tszyu never got cut in that fight, I believe he easily would have beat Fundora. He was winning that fight before that cut happened, and unfortunately where he got cut at, it was gushing blood. It was blood all over his eyes. And looking back at it, Tszyu, he was the recipient of a bad judgment call, right? That fight should have been stopped. I know they didn't want to stop the fight because that was one of the first fights on the new network of Amazon, and it turned out to be a really great fight. But it was unfortunate for Tszyu because he lost his title. He wasn't able to get a rematch. He got blood over his eye, so he couldn't really see, but he fought admirably. But then, in his comeback fight, he fought Mutez, I can't say his last name, Bataliev. I'm sorry for butchering your last name, but Bataliev, who's a phenomenal fighter. He's absolutely huge, got devastating power, very technical. I would like to see that guy, Bataliev, fight Israel Madrimov. I think that would be an excellent fight. Or I would like to see that guy fight Jermell Charlo, bearing that he get a couple of tune-ups. I think that'd be a great fight. But nevertheless, I would love to see how Tszyu come back, see if he's the same fighter, because he got brutally knocked out by Bataliev. It was very unfortunate to see that happen to Tszyu. But he showed so much heart in that fight, man. He could have quit, but he kept getting up. It was times in that fight where you could clearly see he was out on his feet, but he fought like a warrior. He showed heart. He showed grit. And I do think, I don't know if he had beat Bataliev if they was to rematch, but I do think he'll go in there with a completely different game plan, and that fight will look completely different. So this is absolutely a huge fight for both guys. Considering that Keith Thurman is coming off yet another injury. He's looking to get back in the fold and, get his name back in order, get his activity on, and get back into the swing of things and try to prove that he's still an elite level fighter, even though he's an older guy. Tszyu, he want to clean up some things and prove that he's still a very good, solid fighter, potentially elite level fighter. And I don't write these guys off after losses. I don't care how bad you lose. If you're willing to own the loss, if you're willing to go back to the drawing board, you're willing to see what you did wrong, what you can improve on, and do your best to improve on it, you can come back, man. I want to get away from, in boxing, if a guy lose 1 or 2 fights, he's damaged goods. He's no good to anybody. he should go back down to the, to the lower level and, just be a journeyman and a gatekeeper. And nah, man, I don't want to see that. That's part of, in my opinion, that's part of what hurt the sport. I know Floyd Mayweather, I don't believe that he intended to hurt the sport with bragging on the O so much. I just believe that Floyd Mayweather used that O as a marketing and a selling ploy. But I don't think that it was ever intended for these fighters to duck and dodge tough fights, duck and dodge big fights and elite fights to try to save their O. But unfortunately, that's, been a mantra in boxing. So guys will try to fight it, if it's a guy that they think, that they're evenly matched with or that could possibly beat them, they'll try to hold out on fighting that guy as long as they can. But the problem with that is when you do that, you never know what the future may hold, right? You may not be the same fighter. You may have a hard time making the weight. One of you guys may lose. Your body may not, respond like it's supposed to. You may end up being a step slower. Everybody's genetics is different. It's much better to fight while you're younger. And that way, if you do lose to that particular fighter, you can rematch him. You know what I'm saying? If like the way that Terrence Crawford beat Earl Spence, if that would have happened 5 years ago, and then these guys get a couple of fights in between, and then Earl Spence were to get back in there, people will be more excited to see it because you're younger, you're more spry, you're fresher. But when you're older, you just, regardless to how well you keep yourself in shape, your body just don't perform the way that it used to, no matter how much you want it to. Father Time catches up to us all. It catch up to some people later based on how well they treat themselves, how well they treat their body, and their genetics. Some people have good genetics. They have a muscular, athletic, genetic. Some of us don't, right? But depending on how well you train, how active you stay, as far as, a fighter, the least amount of damage you take, you can preserve yourself, right? But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm very excited about this fight. If Keith Thurman can get past Brock Jarvis, and, I hope Tszyu is 70, 80, even 100% of what he was, because this is going to be a great fight. You're going to see some boxing, you're going to see some banging, you're going to see some defense, you're going to see some counter punching. You're going to see a lot of things in this fight because both of these guys are very, very good fighters. Hope you guys are interested in the fight. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. See you guys later. Peace.